On the second last day of the Africa Union Comprehensive African Agriculture Development Program Partnership Platform being held here in the Gabonese capital, Libreville, we are yet again gathering here on what is a virtual fire for the African Agriculture Fireside Chat. We are privileged to have with us this evening Dr. Ousmane Badiane, the Director for Africa at the International Food Policy Research Institute. It's very good to have you with us, Dr. Ousmane Badiane.
Thank you for having me. All right, thank you very much.
So I'll jump straight into it. The biennial review report, where are we? What have we achieved over the last couple of years as we try to transform the agricultural sector as a driver of economic transformation on the continent? Are you happy with what you have achieved so far?
The answer is a definite yes. At the beginning of CADEP, there was a very intense movement of consultation. Although there was a programmatic document, people were wise enough to say, let's empty this document with the programmatic content. Let's keep the shell, which are the values, the principles, and the targets, and then allow every region and every country to fill it with their own priorities. That turned it into a movement, because once the countries decide what's in there, and the regions, the farmers' organization and others, they own it, right? And second, there was no blueprint on how to implement CADEP. It was being discovered as we went, open-minded. There was a collective discovery process. You put something on the table, this is the immediate problem you have, you solve it, and you bump into the next one, you open the debate again, and you solve it, right? So one can look back and think, whoa, this was nicely designed. No, there was no blueprint on how to implement. No, it just evolved like that. And you really never knew what was going to be the next step, but you just know it when you get there, and it's an obstacle you needed to move.
And isn't that how development in Africa then should be? Because sometimes I feel like we wait until all the lights are green for us to move.
Once you know that the direction is right, yes, and you ask the right question for the stage and the time and the space where you are, once you find the answer to that question, it will lead you to the next one. And in an open-minded, fact-oriented basis, and really open-minded means you listen to every voice, you look at every possible angle, you question every step, right? When you do that, chances are you'll find that right answer to that question at the right point in time, which will lead to the next one. Indeed, there's no linear path to development, and there's no similar examples you can transpose from one place to the other. It is the mindset of being a problem solver, and then looking for the problems and seeing how you solve it.
What are some of the main highlights of the report, those things that will, in a sense, make you go to bed happy saying, I'm glad we achieved that?
The best thing about the BR is the BR itself, the biennial review, the fact that it took place. Now here the heads of states in Africa have decided we want to measure how well we're doing. We want to know the status of our well-being as economies, yes, as communities, as countries, as agricultural sectors. And they say, I want to go and have a lab report every 2 years. This is amazing, and that's really, really extremely encouraging. The other thing that's really exciting about it is how seriously it's been taken. Okay, there was a lot of doubt how many countries will report, yes, how many countries will respond, right? Yes, it's decided by the heads of state, but technically, logistically, it was difficult. If country turns it into a beauty contest, it will defeat its purpose. But if they look at it as the opportunity to look at themselves inside and say, okay, I am really strong here, but I'm weak there. And I'm not weak there forever. I'm weak there now. Yes. No, am I strong here forever? I'm strong there now. I could get weak. So in the same way, where I'm weak today, I can get strong. What do I need to do to get better? If they use it like that, it will meet what has been the intention of the heads of state. It will have met what has been the intention of the heads of state.
It's a report, or it's a, an exercise that then gives us a sense of where we are and should be used by multiple stakeholders. The private sector, people in the civil society movement who are advocating for certain positions. How do you see it being used by those different groups of stakeholders? You
have a stake in knowing that your country is doing well here and not so well there, and you would like that to be changed, right? It might be that where they're not doing well is affecting you even personally, right? If, for example, a policy around agribusiness is not doing well and you're an entrepreneur, you need to know, right? It affects you. And hopefully you'll have the opportunity to dialogue with somebody, because the biennial review is actually just a piece of a bigger package, which is the mutual accountability. If you're taking decisions as a policymaker that affects people's lives, they ought to have the chance to talk to you about your decision and share the experience, have an input, right? So if you're therefore interested in the biennial review report, you know at least what to raise with your colleagues around you, but also with your policymakers and your leaders. So therefore, it's not just for the private sector and farmers, but for everybody, including academics.